All right, so for this video, we'll be talking about the bonus question. Now, for this bonus question, we are going to solve the question by using Gaussian elimination. Well, what is Gaussian elimination? Well, Gaussian elimination is actually like the elimination that we did, but it will be in the form of matrix. And it is like what we see on the calculator using the RREF method. So for the moment, let's go ahead and now we will go ahead and do this by hand. But since we are here, let's go ahead and look at the answer, okay, so that you can see what's going on. But we will also set up the matrix first, and then you can see the transition a lot better. So what's going on here, we'll go ahead and create this matrix. So we have -2, -1, -1, -11, 3, 4, 1, 19, 3, 6, 5, 43, okay? Some people will put a line right here. It's optional. At least for me, it's optional. If you can see it better, okay? But if you put it in the calculator, we use the REF. That's what we do, okay? So we're gonna do this with the calculator. So we'll go to our calculator, which is right here, okay? And then we will type in RREF, open parentheses, and then we'll go ahead and insert a matrix, a 3x4 matrix. And then this will be -2, -2, -2, -1, -1, -11. And then you have 3, 4, 1, 19, and then 3, 6, 5, 43. All right, so we'll enter this. Now we have the answer. It's 2, 2, and 5. So now let me go ahead and copy this matrix to the right-hand side, the answers. All right, 2, 2, 5. All right, so let me go ahead and put it here. So our answer is 1, 0, 0, 2. 2, 2, 5 right here, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So we used the calculator, we knew how to interpret it, but if we have to do it by hand, what we're actually saying, okay, what Gaussian elimination really is that how can we go all the way to this answer by hand? So now it's not that hard, it's just a bit tedious. I want to highlight something right here is that we want to make some zeros happen. Okay, I want you to focus on the zeros. So now what we usually do is that we first label the first row as R1, second row as R2, and third row as R3. And then we would say, well, let's go ahead and make some zeros, okay? Like for example, we would love to make this 0. And I think this is very easy because you have this number 1 right here. So we can say, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and say R2 plus R1 would give us our new R1, okay? So we are saying second row plus the first row, like how we do elimination, okay? We do elimination usually. So we say R2 plus R1. So 3 plus -2, it's 1. 4 plus -1 is 3. 1 plus -1 is 0. And then 19 plus -11 is, it's 8. Okay, so we're like, oh yeah, good. And everything else will be the same. We didn't change it. Right, so we're like, hey, that's great, right? We have some zeros here, right? So this is the first 0 that we got here. That's a great start. And now we say, well, we want something more. We want, what do we want? We want another number. We want this to be 0 as well. And why? Why this to be 0? Why not another number to be 0? Because if we have this number to become 0, so then these 2 rows essentially is just, you know, the 2 unknowns, 2 equations, that kind of scenario. So we say, well, how are we going to create that scenario? Well, we would say, in order to make this happen, we probably would have to do something. And what we have to do is to make use of this 5. And then we would have to, we probably would have to multiply R2 by 5 and then subtract by R3. And that would give us R2. So again, it's like our typical elimination process. It's just that it's a little bit more abstract. It's taken in the form of matrix, but it's not that hard. It's just a little bit tedious. So first row didn't change. Third row didn't change. So we kept writing the same thing. And now we'll go ahead and do 5 times 3 minus 3, which is 12. 6 times 5, which is 30, minus 4, which is 26. Oh, sorry, my bad. Nope. I totally messed up the calculation. Nope, my bad. It should be 5 times 3. Sorry, 5 times 3 minus 3, it's 12, yeah. 5 times 4 minus 6, which is 20 minus 6, it's 14. 5 times 1 minus 5, which is 0. 5 times 19, which is 95, minus 43. 95 minus 43, it's a total of 52. Okay, so we have that. And we're like, okay, now we see 2 zeros here. So practically row 1 and row 2 is just a two unknowns, 2 equations. Yeah, this kind of scenario. So now our next target, make this 0. How do we make this 0? Because we want to have 1 0 0 right at the top. So I'm going to move here. Okay, so I'm not sure if I have enough space. Let me go ahead and make the arrow a little bit smaller, closer. So in order to do that, well, I need to erase. Let's take out the 3. How can we do that? Now, can you see these numbers are all even numbers? And I would say, maybe it's a good idea to, simply reduce it, okay? So instead of having these big numbers, let's make the numbers a little bit smaller. So row 1 didn't change. Row 3 did not change. All we're changing is to reduce a little number in row 2. Okay, so that would make our further work a lot easier. And now we say, yeah, we still are talking about eliminating this 3 to make it 0. And we say, oh yeah, that's a lot easier because we can simply do 7 times R1 minus R2 because we will have, well, actually, no, sorry, I bet it should be 7 times R1 minus 3 times R2 because we will have to have a common multiple. So we'll use 21 as a common multiple, and that will be our new R1. Okay, so R1, R2, R3. So 6, 7, 0, 26, 3, 6, 5, 43, and then, so 7 times R1, which is 7, 7 minus 18, negative 11. 7 times 3 minus 3 times 7, that will be 0. That would be also 0. And then now 7 times 50, 7 times 8, and then 57 times 8 would be 56, minus 3 times 26, which is 78, which would get you a number of what? 22 negative. Okay, so now we are very excited because now let's use green color to celebrate this moment because now we have 0, 0. And why is it important? Because now we can simply go ahead and say, yeah, let's go ahead and divide the row 1 by negative 11. And that shall be our new row 1. And that would be 1, 0, 0, 2. And the other two rows are still the same. Okay. So we're like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now with this first row done, we can now use it for a lot of things. We can use it for what? We can use it to make this number 6 0. So how can we do that? We would say, well, it's easy. We can simply say, yeah, R2 minus 6 times R1. It's equal to our new row 2. So R1, R2, R3. R1 is still the same. R3 is still the same. And oops, sorry, this should be 6. See, poor handwriting, almost a disaster. Yeah. And then so we would say R2, which is 6 minus 6 times 1, which is 0, a total. 7 minus 6 times 0, so still 7. This would be 0. And then 26 minus 12. 26 minus 6 times 2. So that will be, what is it? 26 minus 6 times 2. So 26 minus 6 times 2, which is 26 minus 12, and that is 14. Okay, and now we say, hey, that's wonderful because we can simply divide the R2 by 7. So we are one step closer. Again, we have 1 0 0 2, 0 1 0 2, and then now we just have to figure out what's happening at the very end. Okay, and at the very end, we'll say, all right, let's go ahead, make the first number here 0. All right, let me go ahead and shrink this a little bit, actually. All right, so to do that, I would say R3 minus 3 times R1, give us a new R3. And I'm going to be a little bit lazy here so that I can save some time. All right, so I would say, all right, so row 3 is going to be somewhat smaller now. So 3 times 3, 3 minus 3, sorry, 3 minus 3 will be 0. There'll be still 6. This will be 5. And 43 minus 6. 43 minus 6 will be 37. And now we are going to make this 0. And to do that, we will go ahead and say, well, R3 minus 6 times R2 will give us the new R3. And then to do that, I'm going to do the copying again. All right, and then you erased my third row. So my new third row would be 0. And then 6 minus 6 would be 0. 5 still there. And then 37 minus 12 will be 30. 37 minus 12 will be 25. And then for one last step, R3 is going to be divided by 5 to give us a new row 3. And our final answer is so divide the row 3 by 5, you get 1 and 5. So you can see how it resembles what we got earlier through the calculator. So this is what we call the Gaussian elimination. It's tedious, take you some time, and that's why we use a calculator. But for the bonus question, we just want to see if you could do this by hand. Okay.